Tulsi Maharani ki jai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Rama Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Stotara His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, BBT Founder Acharya, BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Goti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai Shri Gangamai Ki Jai Shri Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So right now we've just begun the 10th canto, chapter 67, by the title of Lord Balaram Kills Vidvida. And we're going to start on text 3. Amarendra Prabhu gave a very nice introduction yesterday and set the mood and the stage. So this is text 3, and we're going to read several texts. Sakyusho pachitum karvam vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karan goshan Adahadvanim utsrijan Sakyu sopachitim kurvan Vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karan goshan Arahadvanim utsrijan Sakyu sopachitim kurvam Vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karan goshan Adahadvanim utsrijan. Bodhis. Sakyuso pachitim kurvan Vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karam gosham Adahadvanim utsrijan Sakyuso pachitim kurvan Vanaro rastra viplavan Puragrama karangoshan Adahadvanim utsrijan Vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karan goshan Adahadvanim utsrijan. Ladies? Sakyuso pachitim kurvan Vanaro rastra viplavam Puragrama karagoshan Adahadvanim utsrijan Sachiso pachitim kurvam Vanaro rastra viplavan Pura grama karangoshan adahad vanim utsrijan. Sakyuhu of his friend Naraka, whom Lord Krishna had killed. Sa he apachitam, repayment of his debt. Kurvan, doing. Vanaraha, the ape. Rashtra, of the kingdom. Viplavan, creating great disturbance. Pura, the cities. Grama, the villages. Akaran, and mines. Goshan, cowherd communities. Adahat, he burned. Vanim, fire. Utsrijan, spreading about. The translation. To avenge the death of his friend Naraka, the ape, Vidvida, ravaged the land, setting fires that burned cities, villages, mines, and cowherd dwellings. Please repeat, to avenge the death of his friend Naraka, the ape Vidvida ravaged the land, setting fires that burned cities, villages, mines, and cowherd dwellings. Purport by the servants of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Krishna had killed Vidvida's friend Naraka, and to retaliate, the ape intended to destroy Lord Krishna's flourishing kingdom. And Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes, his first business was to set fire in villages, towns, and industrial and mining places, as well as the residential quarters of the mercantile men who were busy dairy farming and protecting cows. We're going to go ahead and read several more verses to get the whole scene intact here. So this is 4, and we can all read together. Vachit Sailanupatya Tyre Deshan Soma Achurnayat Anartan Sutarameva Yatraste Mitraha Harihi. Once Vidvida tore up a number of mountains and used them to devastate all the neighboring kingdoms, especially the province of Anartha, wherein dwelt his friend's killer, Lord Hari. Text 5. Vachit sumudra madhyasto dorbyan ukshitbya tachalam deshan naga yuta prano vela kule nyam jadat. Another time he entered the ocean, and with the strength of 10,000 elephants churned up its water with his arms, and thus submerged the coastal regions. Sounds like Vidvida might be out in the ocean now, submerging the coastal region. Text 6. Asraman rishi mukyanam kritva bhagnad vanaspatim Adushayachcharnvin mutrar agnin vaitanikan kala. The wicked ape tore down the trees in the hermitages of exalted sages and contaminated their sacrificial fires with his feces and urine. Text 7. Purushan yoshito dripta shama bridroni guhashusa nikshipya chapya dhakchailai peshashkariva kittikam. Just as a wasp imprisons smaller insects, He arrogantly threw both men and women into caves in a mountain valley and sealed the caves shut with boulders. Text 8. Evam deshan vipra kurvan dushayamscha kulastriya srutva sulalitam gitam girim raivatakam yayo. Once, while Vidvida was thus engaging in harassing the neighboring kingdoms and polluting women of respectable families, he heard very sweet singing coming from Raivataka mountain, so he went there. Text 9 and 10. Tatra pashad yadu patim ramam puskaramalinam sudashainya sarvangam lalana yautamadyagam gayantam varunim pitva mada vivalalochanam vibrajanam nam vapusha Prabhinam Iva Varanam. There he saw Sri Balaram, the Lord of the Yadus, adorned with a garland of lotuses and appearing most attractive in every limb. He was singing amidst a crowd of young women, and since he had drunk Varuni liquor, his eyes rolled as if he were intoxicated. His body shone brilliantly, as he behaved like an elephant in rut. Text 11. Dusta sakam riga sakam arudha kampayam druman chakre kila kila sabdam atmanam sampradarshayan. The mischievous ape climbed a tree branch and then revealed his presence by shaking the trees and making the sound kila kila. Text 12. The word Saka Mriga indicates that the ape Vidvida, like ordinary apes, was naturally inclined to climb trees. Srila Prabhupada writes, this gorilla, by the name Vidvida, could climb up on the trees and jump from one branch to another. Sometimes he would jerk the branches, creating a particular type of sound, kila kila, so that Lord Balaram was greatly distracted from the pleasing atmosphere. Text 12. Dasha darshtityam kapervikshya tarunyo jati kapala Asha Priya Vijahasur Baladeva Parigraha. When Lord Baladev's consorts saw the ape's impudence, they began to laugh. They were, after all, young girls who were fond of joking and prone to silliness. And finally, text 13. Tahelayam asakapir brushe par samukadivi darshayan swagudam tasham ramashacha nirikshita. Even as Lord Balaram looked on, Vidvida insulted the girls by making odd gestures with his eyebrows, coming right in front of them and showing them his anus. Purport. Srila Prabhupada writes, the gorilla was so rude that even in the presence of Balaram, he began to show the lower part of his body to the women, and sometimes he would come forward to show his teeth while moving his eyebrows. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that Vidvida would come right up to the women and move about, urinate, and so on. Om Jnanatanamandasya Gananjalasya Kaya Chakshur Unminitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nivishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatadine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bir Krishna Das Goswami Niti Namine Namo Hamsane Kashaya Prabhupada Prayate Sudrida Sudine Stemyam Tashavaki Nuvadine Vanchakopa Trivishta Kripa Sindhuve Vachapatitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this is actually personally one of my favorite pastimes in the Srimad Bhagavatam for several reasons. Well, one, has, featuring Lord Balaram, who, as we can see here, he's Lord Balaram, he's here, he's having a good time, he's with his gopis, he's, on the Raivataka mountain, and it's all auspicious, and I believe this is probably during the time that the moon shone for several months while, maybe Prabhupada was enjoying with his gopis, maybe. It seems like that. So he was, deeply absorbed. Everybody was deeply absorbed. And then, Vidvita is like the ultimate rude dude, He comes along. And actually, it's really sad because Vidvita was a nice associate of Lord Ramachandra at one point, He and his brother. They were, the right hands of Sugriva. And so he had very good association. He was very, very a trusted person. He was very revered in that pastime. And just by a little bit of bad association, which caused his false ego, his lust, his, just crude, rude, socially inappropriate, unacceptable activities just caused it to flare up. So, in Ramachandra's time, he had, offended Lakshman. And Lakshman we know is Balaram. And he is, he's very humble, he's very devoted, he's very dutiful, steadfast, all those things to Lord Ramachandra. So I wasn't able to quite hear what the result of that offense was at the time, but I suspect there wasn't any result because now Vidvita is here, and he's again with Lakshman, aka Balaram, and he kind of has another opportunity to redeem himself to some extent, but since he was consorting with demons, he wasn't really able to hear or understand, the right way to act, poor discrimination, right? He had poor discrimination. So, he just went along with the club. We hear about that so much in the Srimad Bhagavatam, is, somebody's nice and then they cavort with demons or they associate with demons and then they, turn into a demon. That happens quite a lot. Certainly, we've seen that here on our Earth planet, how that association lends itself to, that demonic thinking, and it just keeps ruminating, because, the mind wants that. The mind wants that, those things that it can, enjoy, that it can really, keep ruminating on, keep trying to, make sense out of for themselves, because, people want to think they're the controller. They want to think they're the enjoyer. They want to think that they're the all in all. And obviously Vidvita did. I mean, these actions, really there's nowhere in the Bhagavatam that we hear about these sort of, just deplorable and disgusting sort of behavior, It's just really, usually the demons in the Bhagavatam are, they're doing their demonic thing and killing people and whatnot, but, it's said that Kansa and Ravana and some of these people, they're actually very refined gentlemen, I mean, yeah, they're doing heinous activities, but they're beautiful, and they're, they have all these riches, all these sort of opulences, and then they just do these demonic acts. But Vidvita, this is sort of like rude, crude, and all the things incarnate, And he's being referred to by Prabhupada and the Acharyas. I don't know, just the connotation of, they keep calling him an ape, an ape. And, I'll say that in, our vernacular in this world, if you call somebody an ape or you refer to them in that way, it's sort of, they're an animal, right? They're an animal. They're not even a human. They're just an animal, Vidvida's running around, defecating and urinating on sacrificial arenas, sacrificial fires. He's laying waste to all the brahmanas' crops and to their, what they're doing. I suspect he's pulling clothes off of lines. Just any kind of behavior that's, it creates a lot of attention. And it's a lot of negative attention. But, Vidvida is just out to call attention to himself because he feels like he's invincible, right? Which probably carries over from the Ramayana, since I've never heard about any killing of, Sugriva's, particularly by Lakshman. I mean, they were on the side of Lakshman and Ramachandra, so they weren't doing anything heinous then, seemingly, but somehow he made some little offense to Lakshman that, I could probably dig down and maybe we could try to find, probably Amarendra knows, I could ask him. But he offended a devotee in some way. He offended a great devotee. He offended the Lord himself. And so, once those offenses, and we've seen even here on a lesser scale, once someone offends devotees, their intelligence and everything begins to diminish, because the Lord can't tolerate offending devotees, his devotees. He just can't tolerate it. And we've seen some persons who, once they offend devotees, they just, it's then a snowball effect. They just, one thing after another and after another, and they can't seem to do anything right. And sometimes the persons go a little crazy. That's actually somewhere in some literature that once you offend devotees, you start to become deranged, I believe is the word Prabhupada used. You become a little deranged. And, reading about Vidvida, he's beyond deranged, showing his lower parts in front of Balaram, again, offending devotee, again, offending Balaram. And, we're going to see that obviously it can't go on. It's punctuated here in the midst of this Srimad Bhagavatam too. We heard all about the rasa dance, all the beauty, and all of the lamentation when Krishna left. And, we've come up to this point. Now we're learning some hard lessons. Last we were hearing about Pandraka, who, not only was he actually wasn't outwardly offensive like in a, like an action way, not like Vidvida, but, he was offensive in his own way because he thought in his feeble mind that somehow he could dress up like Krishna and he would be Krishna, So now in the Bhagavatam we're hearing about all of these offenses that we must certainly guard against. And with Vidvida, it's so obvious. He's this principle of Vaishnava Sadachar, where we're trying to, relate with the Vaishnavas in of course, a truthful, pleasing, and beneficial way, but also, with the utmost respect. And we're attempting to not, definitely not create any offenses with devotees, we can chant Hare Krishna very nicely all day. We sit here, give class, do all the things apparently, but once we start sinking down into a kanishta sort of a mentality, and we're running roughshod over devotees, The girls thought it was funny because you see a big Vanara, big monkey jumping around and making sound. Monkeys are always portrayed as comical, mischievous, kind of crazy. And, Vidvita definitely doesn't disappoint. But, in the midst of this exchange or exchanges, and particularly Lord Balaram's pleasure at this point in time, to have someone come and just lay waste to so many things. I mean, he did a lot of destruction. He's doing a lot of damage. And Krishna's Krishna. He's somewhere. He doesn't get too involved with those sort of low-level things. We even seen in that movie, and we know from many Bhagavatam pastimes that typically things have to get to a point where it's a breaking point. When Prahlad was, continually trying to be killed, through so many different ways. And finally, there was that breaking point where you just push the Lord a little too far. What was the demon that he had a benediction? He would be he could disrespect him 100 times. Shishupal, Shishupal, his name. So Shishupal Krishna said, okay, to the mother, he can disrespect me 100 times, but on that 101st time, that's it. And the mother was thinking, 100 times, hopefully that's a lot, that he won't go past that, he won't go beyond that, but he did, because give an inch, take a mile, and with the demon clan and with people who, personalities that don't have that discrimination to know, when is enough, when, maybe you get out of line, your mind does something and you correct it. That's what we're here to do. We're here to correct ourselves, You correct it immediately. Then you can actually have a little bit, of intelligence, and then the intelligence platform kicks in, and it's like, oh, wow, okay, that was wrong. I'm so sorry, apologize, and try better. And maybe all those things are still going on in the mind, You don't have to act, people don't have to, Vidvita didn't really have to act these things out. If he wanted to fight Balaram, he could have just done a couple things, or he could have just simply gone to the Raivataka mountain and started there. Why does he have to lay waste to cities, towns, villages? That's just that's very off. It's a very off mentality. And just creates more of a disturbance, and in turn, for that personality, that can't be tolerated, so much disturbance like that. It just can't be tolerated, and Krishna won't tolerate it to his devotees. He just won't. And we see time and time again that message. And with Vidvita, it's just the grossest possible means of expression of that message. That message that, okay, I have all these bad qualities, and, maybe I, want to act them out, but definitely, with that firm discrimination, that they shouldn't be acted out, right? They shouldn't be. And we will find out very soon that Vidvita, Balaram couldn't tolerate. He couldn't tolerate all of this impudence, that word impudence. It's just sort of, it encapsulates a lot in that it, not only are you disrespectful, but blatantly you can be disrespectful and not act on it. You can just ignore or whatever, but impudence is like you act on it. You just do the worst things that you can possibly do to disrespect somebody. So it's like taking it 5 steps further, impudence. And as an ape, monkeys, whether it be through, words, actions, deeds, Fortunately in Kali Yuga, it's said that we're not responsible for our thoughts. I mean, obviously we are to ourselves, but if we're just simply thinking about something or some way to be offensive or create a disruption, but we don't act on it, no harm, no foul. It didn't get out. It didn't leave the box, So we can correct it kind of in an internal way. But once it leaves, once it kind of escapes, seeps out through the cracks, and that's not easy to contain sometimes for us. But we try each day, and I know I breathe a sigh of relief at the end of every day when I recount, my dealings with everybody. Did I treat and speak everyone as I would if it was Krishna himself, right? Because Krishna's in our heart. He's watching it all. It's two birds in a tree. It's our soul, and then there's Krishna sitting right next to that. And he's watching how we act. He knows what we're thinking, but he gives us a lot of leeway, He gives us 100 or 1,000 or 1,000,000 chances to think about things, but not to act on them, And if you reflect on those dealings, and am I honoring Krishna by dealing with his devotee in a respectful, rational, reasonable way? If you're honoring his devotees in that way, then you can actually feel that Krishna's pleased, right? We can feel that. We can understand that we've made it another day without doing anything. Because, sometimes things go off. The mind goes off. I mean, we've seen sometimes devotees who are, they're doing great. And then one day just some switch flips. And, there's always a stimuli. And we're conditioned souls, so it happens. We can't help it. Unfortunately, we're stuck in this construct that sometimes we act on stimuli that we didn't anticipate. And we might do something. But fortunately, if we're always keeping I personally, I try to keep this pastime in my mind, because I can imagine Lord Balaram there, so beautiful. I've been begging Ishwar Chaitanya to make a little AI snippet of Balaram fighting Vidvida, and it's coming along nicely. So we're looking really forward to seeing that, because you see Balaram, and he just at some point he's like, okay, this is enough. I gotta go smash this guy. He's causing too much trouble. He's really a disruption. He doesn't want to. Krishna and Balaram don't want to act in such a way. They want everybody to just, act accordingly and be a nice devotee, be their devotees, so they can associate with them. But obviously, there's no way Balaram can associate with this personality. Even though once upon a time, in another yuga, in another time, he was probably very close to Lakshman, in his last incarnation, very close to him. If he was a minister of Sugriva, he probably had regular dealings, and I'm sure it was extremely relishable. Just that one thing, he associated with the wrong person. And then everything was finished. He was finished. Must be so careful with our association and with the dealings with that association. So careful. It's a razor's edge, because, we're not the controller. Everybody's not going to do exactly what we want them to do or what we tell them to do or whatever. I can attest. And, the second that the second the thing goes off and, it's off the rails, and then it's a mess. It's a mess for all sides. And it doesn't have to be that way, we have the power within us to do the right thing. And particularly us, those of us here in this room, we've all been practicing, and we can understand how this works and how we can rectify ourselves at each moment, and not meet the fate of Vidvida. Even it's embarrassing reading about those actions, who would think to do these things? Who would run up? And you can imagine, you've seen like these baboons and things when they get close to the zoo window or whatever, they come in contact with people, and they want to express, they want to move their eyebrows and show their teeth, do all the things. That's what they do. It's comical. It's actually really funny when we see that, But then taking that step further to wreak havoc and create disturbance, those are, it's an easy slide to fun and funny. It's an easy slide to just over the line to being a little bit off the rails. So let's all remember Vidvida, and just the image of him climbing up trees, making sounds, jumping down, showing it, lifting up his dhoti or whatever an ape would wear, and, showing himself to girls. I mean, just the whole thing is so gross, It's absolutely disgusting, actually. And, we never want to be, I can't think of anybody here, but, there's been some devotees that they get to that point, and it's so sad. It's so sad to see. Once they were nice, once they were found, but now they're lost. It's like a reverse of Amazing Grace. Once they were, they were found, but now they're lost, and they lost themselves. They've lost themselves. So we have to be, it's a razor's edge, very careful to ensure all of our dealings are first class. Vaishnava Sadachara, first class dealings with each other. So I'll stop there. I think the thing's gonna ring. Yes. No, horrific. Yeah, the burning. Yeah, burning thing. Yeah. Mm. In Dwarka, in the Holy Land. Yeah. It's horrific. Killing, raping, pillaging. Yeah, he's turned into a, he's a demon. He's straight out demon. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Terrible. Terrible. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Lord Balaram ki jai. Haribo.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami. Enam Kanvandam Maravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Sama Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Amaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham 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 Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Namaham
Oh, that would be good. Chair will. All right. Yeah, that's good. Thank you very much. Namam Ishvaram Satchid Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Namam Ishvaram Satchit Ananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yasoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Param Ristram Adyanta Todrutya Gopya Yashoda Bioluka Ladavamanam Param Ristram Adyanta Todrutya Gopya Rudandam Mahornetra Yugmam Rajantam Karamboja Yugmena Satankanetram Rudandam Netra Yugmam Rajantam Karam Mena Satankanetram Mohuswasakam Patirekanta Stita Damodaram Bhakti Badam Mohuswasakam Patirekanta Stita Damodaram Bhakti Badam Iti Drikswalila Birananda Kunde Swagoshamni Majantam Akyapayantam Iti Drikswalila Birananda Kunde Swagoshamni Majantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshu tadyeshu bhaktarjitatvam Puna prematastam shatta vritti vande Tadiyeshi tadyeshu bhaktar chitatvam Puna prema tastam jata ritti vande Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam raneham vareshadapiha Varam deva moksham na moksham davimva Nachanyam raneham vareshadapiha Nidam teva purnata gopala balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanyai Idam deva gopala balam Sada me manasya virastam kimanyai Idam te makam bojam achanta nilair Ritam kundalai snigda raktaishcha gopya Idam te makam bojam achanta nilair Ritam kundalai snigda raktaishcha gopya Mohuschambitam bimba raktam darame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Mohuschambitam bimba raktaschamame Manasya virastam alam lakshalabhai Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabni Magnam Kripa Dristi Ristaditinam Betanu Grihane Shamamagyam Ejakshi Drishya Kripa Dristi Ristaditinam Betanu Grihane Shamamagyam Ejakshi Drishya Kuveratmajo bada murchaiva yadvat Twaya mochitao bhakti bhajo kritocha Kuveratmajo bada murchaiva yadvat Twaya mochitao bhakti bhajo kritocha Tata prema bhaktim swakame prayacha Namokshe graho me sti damodareha Tata prema bhaktim swakame prayacha me sti damodareha Namaste stu damne sparadipti damne Twadi yodarayata vishvasya damne Namaste stu damne sparadipti damne Twadi yodarayata vishvasya damne Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tudyam Namo Radhikayai Twadiyai Priyayai Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Radhikaya Twadiyai Priyayai. Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Namo Radhikaya Twadiyai Priyayai. Namo Nandalilaya Devaya Tubhyam. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Radha, Jaya Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radha Damodara Radha, Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radha, Jaya Radha Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Golokananda Radha, Golokananda Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya 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 Giri, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya